Welcome to the Simplicity of Wellness podcast. I'm your host, board-certified holistic nutritionist and professional life coach, Amy White. The purpose of this podcast is to share information that you can use to become leaner, stronger, and healthier by losing weight, shedding inches, maintaining muscle, and managing your mind, all while living your normal, busy life in this modern, sugar-filled world. Hello, simplifiers. Today, I want to talk about lucky people. You know, those people that we all watch and see and think, oh my God, it's so easy for them. What I want to say about lucky people is there's no such thing as luck. What we see as luck, as something that's so easy and simple for other people, is this illusion because we're not looking closely enough. We're not actually seeing the intentional choices that these people make to create what we believe is luck. Often one of the things that we say about people is that they have these great genetics. That's why they're so fit and so healthy. That's what makes them different than us. They have these genes that I just don't have. So let me ask you this. Have you ever heard the phrase, your genetics load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger? And the perfect example of this is type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is a disease of lifestyle. It is something that happens because of the choices that you make in the way that you live your life. If your family is a family that has a lot of type 2 diabetics, that does not mean that you will have type 2 diabetes. Now, you may have the genetics that predispose you to type 2 diabetes, but it's your lifestyle that will actually turn those genes on or keep those genes turned off. As a lifestyle disease, type 2 diabetes is a reversible condition. You may be pre-diabetic or even have type 2 diabetes because of your genetic makeup and then the lifestyle choices that you've made. You can now change your lifestyle choices and reverse the condition. I've done this with so many clients that come to me because they are diagnosed with prediabetes, but they don't want to go on medication. So they tell their doctor, I want to work on this with my nutrition first. So their doctor says, do it, come back in 3 months and we'll recheck you. What I tell people is, we can change your lab markers in 3 months. And we do. They go back to their doctor. Their doctor says, well, we don't actually have to have a conversation because you're not pre-diabetic anymore, so there's nothing to talk about. The only thing these clients did was come to me and ask me to help them understand how to change their diet, how to eat in a healthy way. They didn't just get lucky and reverse their disease. They made an intentional choice. They decided to do something different, and that changed their outcome. It changed their result. The next time you see somebody 50 or older and they're fit and healthy and active, don't think, oh, they're so lucky, they have great genes. I want you to really look at them and I want you to really think, what am I not seeing here? What is this person doing that's different than somebody else? Because they are doing different things. They are making intentional choices that keep their body in balance, that are keeping them healthy. They are in control of how they feel and how they look. They aren't looking at circumstances in their life and thinking, well, there's nothing I can do. For example, often people look at menopause as this circumstance. Once I'm in menopause, well, there's nothing I can do. You just gain weight in menopause. That's what happens. You get this menopause belly. There's nothing I can do about that. Oh, I'm on this specific medication. My doctor told me it makes it really hard for me to lose weight. In fact, it's probably going to make me gain weight. As soon as you believe that your circumstances are controlling your life, controlling your results, you have given all your power away. You have decided that you don't have control and that everyone around you is just lucky, which means that's not something you can have because it's lucky. There's no control there. If you don't believe you have control and there's nothing that you can do, then you're right. Whatever you believe, you are going to make your reality. So you get to decide, are you willing to believe that you can make change? Are you willing to believe that you can make intentional actions that will actually create a different result for you? So let's talk about these fit people over 50. Let's talk about some of the intentional actions that you may not see. These are people who tend to take the stairs instead of the elevator. They tend to park their car further away from the door at the store. They tend to decide on protein and vegetables over pasta and bread. They tend to occasionally drink alcohol rather than drink wine all week long. They tend to choose wine or dessert rather than both when they're out to dinner. They typically go to bed earlier because they want to be able to get up in the morning and have time to do what they want to do before the obligations of the day take over. They make these choices so that they can live the life that they want to live. They also have an awareness between their brain and their body. They're aware of how their body feels. They're aware of what makes them feel good and what doesn't make them feel good. And this may have taken them years to get to that point where they really feel that, where they really understand what works for them and what doesn't work for them. They also recognize that their brain is going to want things that aren't necessarily good for their body. They're going to make decisions about, do I want what my brain wants in the moment, or am I going to ignore that and do what's best for my body? Most of the time, these people choose to do what's best for their body, but some of the time they will choose to do that indulgent thing that their brain is encouraging them to do. And that's okay. That's balance. You need to be able to do that, but you need to understand the difference between most of the time and some of the time. Most of the time, you're making intentional choices that work for your body. The next time you see somebody who's fit and healthy, look a little closer. What do these people do differently from somebody else that you know that's the same age that isn't fit and healthy? It may not be obvious, but they are making intentional choices to be fit and healthy. In fact, at this point in their life, they may not even realize that they make these intentional choices. That's what's so beautiful about this, is the more you do things like that, the more they become habitual. You create habits. And so the way I like to describe that is your normal everyday behavior supports the health and body that you want. So if you're trying to lose weight, that's the ideal thing. That's what you want. You want to learn how to lose weight so that the behaviors and the actions that you did to lose weight just become these natural, normal actions of your everyday life. So you build this lifestyle that supports the body and the health that you want. I would venture to guess that those people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s who look to be lucky genetically because everything looks so easy and simple for them, have created habits that built a lifestyle that just supported the body and health that they wanted. What they do now isn't so intentional anymore. It is in fact just normal everyday behavior. It's their habits. In my Hangry to Healthy program, I don't teach people dieting. I teach people how to lose weight. And I teach people how to lose weight so that they understand that it's not magical. Losing weight and understanding how you lost weight are two very different things. When you lose weight without actually changing your behavior, making long-term change, understanding how your body works so that you can make changes that will last, it feels lucky. It feels like you did this thing and you just got lucky. When you understand how your body works, and therefore you understand why you're making the changes that you're making and how they're impacting your body, it doesn't feel so lucky. It feels powerful. It feels empowering because you realize, I did this. And I know how I did this, which means I can do it again. When you understand how your body works and how food impacts your body, you create a result that's lasting because you know how to stay in balance. You've now become that person that understands the difference between what their brain wants and what's actually good for their body, and then being able to make those choices most of the time. So as we wrap things up today, let's talk about intentional changes. Let's talk about what you can do intentionally that maybe you're not doing currently. As you know, I always bring things back to food. So to me, one of the most intentional things that you can do is think about your food. Think about how your food is making you feel. So when you're eating, be it a snack, be it a meal, think about how you feel while you're eating it, but also after you've eaten it. Do you feel better or do you feel worse? Start to categorize foods as the things that I should eat most of the time, the things that I should eat some of the time, and the things that I probably should eat rarely, if never. That's one of the best ways that you can intentionally help your body to recognize how food is working or not working for your body. And the foods that make you feel good, after you're done eating, you're not overly full, you're not tired, you feel good. You don't have gas, you don't have bloating, you don't have heartburn. Put those foods in the I probably should eat these foods most of the time category. Hopefully they're foods that you like. I don't encourage you to eat food that you don't like. Find the foods that you like and figure out from that pile of food which ones are the ones you want to eat most of the time. Which ones make you better, not worse. Things you would eat some of the time don't make you better, don't necessarily make you worse, but by eating those, you're crowding out the things that you do want to eat most of the time. That's why they're kind of the some of the time foods. And then the rarely, if never foods are going to be those indulgences that you know that are going to spike your blood sugar, they're going to give you digestive discomfort, they're going to make you sleepy, that kind of stuff. Those are the rarely, if never foods. Occasionally you can have those foods too, but recognize that that's one of those moments where you're going in and you're like, yeah, brain, you're right, that looks delicious, let's do that. You're making that choice to have that in the moment reward versus the long-term result that you really want, the thing that makes you better long-term. I hope today you understand the difference between believing that there are lucky people in the world and now realizing that they're not lucky. They're actually making choices to create the result that you're seeing, the result that they want. Stop thinking that you can't have what you want because you're not lucky. It has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with making choices. One choice that you can make when it comes to weight loss is learning how to work with your body. And that is exactly what I do in my Hangry to Healthy weight loss coaching program. Today is the last day of enrollment. If you are interested in making that choice to jump in and get the support and the guidance that you need to understand how to work with your body so that you can lose weight and not gain it back, jump over to the Hangry to Healthy page. The link is in the description below the podcast. And join before enrollment closes tonight at midnight. Have you ever said to yourself, I wish someone would just tell me what to eat? If so, today is your day. Go to the show notes and click the link, Your Healthy Kitchen, What to Eat, to download the starter food list that I share with all of my Hangry to Healthy weight loss clients. These are the foods that will calm your gut, eliminate the bloat, boost your energy, and shift you into a fat burner. This list is your first step toward body balance and weight loss for the last time.